Coming up on Inside the Summit League, Oral Roberts looking to lock down a regular season championship in baseball. The Eagles stay on top with a sweep on the road over the weekend. And a softball player at Fort Wayne fighting for every breath as she tries to keep her team pumped up for the playoffs. Welcome to Inside the Summit League. Some postseason golf coming up for the men's team at the University of South Dakota, and the NCAA tournament in tennis is this weekend for the men and the women at Denver. But we start with softball. The Summit League tournament getting started as we speak in Fargo, North Dakota. North Dakota State is the host and the number one seed again. NDSU wins the regular season for the fourth year in a row behind three seniors on the roster this year: Amanda Grable, Krista Menke, and Alex Sobrero.
Alex has done a tremendous job, being a leader of our team out there. And Krista on the mound, you see what she's done for us on the mound, and Amanda as well. She's done a great job just being leaders and kind of help all in different aspects too. They all have different kind of roles that they fill as leaders up there.
The past 4 years, it's been crazy. It's gone really fast, and being successful also makes it super fun, and just getting better with my brothers.
I wouldn't trade this experience for anything, and everybody back home is like, why would you come to North Dakota? It's so cold, but I love it up here, and I love it so much I'm not even leaving.
It's been a long 4 years that flew by fast. That's the best way to describe it. I've learned a lot, grown as a person, grown as a player, made a lot of memories, made a lot of friends.
You look at these three have been out there, they've started every game since they were freshmen basically, except for some injuries here and there. So they've been through a lot, and they've done just a great job for our program.
All right, the Bison will play their first tournament game on Thursday against the winner of Western Illinois and South Dakota State. IUPUI and Fort Wayne is the other first-round game. The loser of those first-round games, by the way, is out, and then it's double elimination from there. The winner of that IUPUI game will face South Dakota, the number 2 seed this year, and that game will be on Thursday. Now, the Coyotes have set 2 new Summit League records this year: most home runs by one team in a season and most hits by one player in a season. The Yotes have cranked out 69 home runs. That is one better than Southern Utah did back in 2007. USD has 3 players with at least 10 home runs: Matt Lee Jones with 14, Allie Daly with 13, and Katie Dinning with 10. Now, Yvonne Minogue has 9 home runs, and she has set a new Summit League record this year for hits in one season with 87, and that breaks a record that had stood for 20 years. Minogue also leads the nation in doubles right now with 26. She leads the Summit League in batting with a .481 average going into the tournament. That is 5th in the country, by the way. North Dakota State has 3 of the top 5 in the league in hitting. They're 2, 3, and 5 hitters: Moreland, Garcia, and Grable. And you see Sammy Marshall in there in second in hitting at .450 this year. She came into this season with a .455 career average. That is the best in Summit League history. Marshall is also the league's career leader in stolen bases. She's got 25 this year and 133 in her 4 years at Western Illinois. Well, some of the other league leaders going into the postseason tournament: South Dakota has been driving in a lot of runs with all of those home runs. Allie Daly with 57 RSBI so far in her senior season. That is not far off the Summit League record of 60 set last year by Danny Pugh of Fort Wayne. Matt Lee Jones is right behind Daly, and then Garcia at North Dakota State, all 4'11" of her, 3rd in the league this year in driving in runs. When it comes to giving up runs, Brooke Betcher at IUPUI tops in the league in ERA in all games played this year. That's just a tick ahead of Krista Menke at North Dakota State. But in Summit League games only, Menke's ERA drops down to 1.03, and believe it or not, that would be good for just 8th all-time in the Summit League record book. But no doubt about it, Menke is having a sensational season. She has 29 wins. That is one off the league record. She has 92 career wins. That is also one away from tying the all-time league record. Menke is second in the nation right now with 339 strikeouts. She needs 17 more to set a new Summit League record in that category. And Menkia just threw her 4th no-hitter of the season over the weekend. 7 innings, no hits, 16 strikeouts against IUPUI on Saturday. And North Dakota State is getting some votes this week in the national poll. NDSU is just out of the top 25 in the USA Today coaches rankings. They would be 26th in the nation if you want to look at it that way. Well, more softball coming up next. The story of a sophomore at Fort Wayne who has literally had her breath taken away this season by a mysterious illness. Avery Nelson is trying to stay on the field and out of the operating room.
Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Grand Falls Casino and Golf Resort and Dakota Land Honda. Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Health, your Heartland Chevy team dealers, and the Sioux Falls Convention and Visitors Bureau.
We go to Fort Wayne for this week's Campus Spotlight. It has been a challenging year as far as wins and losses for the IPFW softball team. And for one player in particular, it's been a challenge just to take her next breath without having to worry about it. But Avery Nelson is determined to make the best of a bad situation.
This spring when she came in, the whole team had a conditioning test to pass, and she did describe to me that she had an asthmatic condition that wasn't actually asthma, but she did treat it with an inhaler. And however, the next words out of her mouth were, "Hey, I don't want to sit anything out." She wanted to kind of keep her issues on the down low and say, "Oh, it's not a big deal, I can do it." And it was only later into the semester that we found out that it was actually a pretty significant thing that she's dealing with.
The beginning of my junior year in high school, I had a deviated septum surgery, and after that I developed this really weird cough. They sent me to ENT and rheumatology, and they found an ANCA, positive ANCA on my blood work. I saw about every doctor there, and they still don't know what's going on, and it's just progressed and progressed. So recently I have had a terrible cough, and I have a hard time breathing at practice and during games. So when I went to the Ready Med here, they found a spot on my lungs and told me to go back home and see my specialist, so I did. And when I got there, they said that my lungs basically weren't working at all, and my lung function was very low. So they asked me to be admitted into the hospital right away, which I did, and I was there for 6 days.
I think Avery had that ability to kind of realize that while she was having an issue, we had a lot of injury issues and illness-related issues, and if she could come back and thought she could, she knew she could really help the team.
I would watch the games on live stats and cheer for them. Doctors would come in the room and nurses would come in the room. I'd have all my IPFW stuff on, and I'd be like, "Yeah, we're winning," and it was awesome to have them cheering for us as well, and they would get involved with the games. And it was just hard though to know I wasn't on the field or I wasn't even in the dugout to be able to cheer them on. That was the hardest part.
Avery's a gutsy player. If there's a chance that she could play in the game, regardless of whether or not she's even been able to practice, she can still go out there and be competitive.
I wanted to come back so quickly because I know that softball is my outlet. The team's helped out tremendously.
I think actually her teammates have fed off of her to an extent. She's really loud in the dugout. She's game in and game out. She will cheer until she loses her voice in a game. She has that energy to give. So I've certainly seen the team really kind of buck up a bit. I know they're extremely proud of her as well.
Well, right now I don't have a diagnosis. They are looking towards either an autoimmune, which is Wegener's, or I'm looking towards something else, which would be primary ciliary dyskinesia, which is what they're most likely thinking. This summer I'm going to a place in St. Louis that I'm hoping, to get a diagnosis in either yes or no, so I can go down, more of an autoimmune path and know what's going on with my lungs and nose.
I would just say that, actions like Avery's and approaches like Avery's to adversity, to putting the team first, those are the kinds of things and the kind of behaviors that we need exhibited as we build our program. So we're glad she's here.
I have only so much time left in my life to play softball, so I'm just trying to take up as much as I can with it rather than, sit in a hospital or sit in a doctor's office.
All right, baseball coming up next. Fort Wayne took that 7-game win streak to North Dakota State, and the Bison beat them up. It's the first Summit sweep of the season for North Dakota State.
Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Grand Falls Casino and Golf Resort and Dakota Land Honda. Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Health, your Heartland Chevy team dealers, and the Sioux Falls Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Welcome back now to baseball. Oral Roberts with a sweep on the road over the weekend. North Dakota State gets a sweep at home, and those two teams have the player and the pitcher of the week. Matt Brandy at Oral Roberts homered twice. He drove in 8 runs, scored 5 times as the Golden Eagles won 3 in a row at Omaha. David Ernst at North Dakota State is the pitcher of the week. A complete game against Fort Wayne on Sunday. He gave up just 3 hits, struck out 6 in the 2-1 win. And there were a lot of games this week that either go extra innings or end early by the 10-run rule, including all 3 games they played in Brookings between South Dakota State and Western Illinois. Game 1 on Friday between the Leathernecks and the Jackrabbits. Big game for J.J. Reimer. 5 hits in the game, including a solo home run. Western Illinois gets a run in the top of the 9th to tie the game, and then in the top of the 12th, they blow the lid off. Brent Turner with a sac fly. Western gets 6 runs in the 12th inning, and they take game 1 9-4. Jacks come back with 18 hits on Saturday in game 2. Luke Ringhofer with a single and a double and a bases-loaded walk. He drives in 6 runs, and SDSU wins game 2 19-9 in 8 innings. And then they send everybody home again early on Sunday. Ryan Fromm goes 6 1/3, allows just 2 runs, gets some help out in right field from Eric Danforth. The snag and then a 1 hopper to the plate to get Colton Pogue. SDSU with 3 more double plays. They lead the league with 44, and the Jacks win game 3 12-2. Well, Fort Wayne had won 7 games in a row, and then they went to Fargo, and North Dakota State takes game 1. Drew Fearing just touches that into left field for an RBI. Freshman had 3 hits. Bison win game 1 6-4. And then they combined for 40 hits and 25 runs on Saturday. Kendall Whitman with a home run for the Dons. Greg Kaiser hit 1 too. Fort Wayne out to a 6-0 lead, but Danny Reagan with 4 hits and a walk-off walk in the bottom of the 12th inning. Bison come back and take game 2 13-12. And then the pitchers take over in game 3. Evan Miller strikes out 10 for Fort Wayne. He was great. David Ernst was a little bit greater on this day, allows just 3 hits and 1 run, and this might be the play of the year. Look at Drew Fearing at second base. An incredible play, and the Bison win 2-1, and they sweep Fort Wayne. And in Omaha, rain at Omaha's ballpark had made it unplayable, so the Mavs and Oral Roberts playing at a local high school field on Sunday in the final game of this series. Omaha scores the first 7 runs. Ryan Cate comes sliding in, and then Mark Hanberg follows up with a 3-run home run. Omaha is up 7-0 after 3 innings, but they give it all back. Here's the player of the week, Matt Brandy. A homer and a double and 5 RBI for him. Oral Roberts comes back, and they get the sweep in the series. Well, up next, University of South Dakota golf coach Nick Hovden talking about his men's team winning their first Summit League championship. He had kind of a funny and familiar motivation for his guys.
Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Grand Falls Casino and Golf Resort and Dakota Land Honda. Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Health, your Heartland Chevy team dealers, and the Sioux Falls Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Well, the University of South Dakota men's golf team will play next weekend out in Washington State in one of the 6 NCAA regional tournaments going on. The Coyotes won their first Summit League championship last week, coming on strong in the final round to claim the team title. USD came from 11 shots back and posted the best score of the tournament in the 3rd and final round, and ended up finishing 3 shots ahead of Oral Roberts and 12 shots ahead of their rivals from South Dakota State.
You know, we weren't thinking about protecting a lead or anything. We just kind of went out and played freely and played confident. And our goal was to beat SDSU, to be honest with you. And if good things happen and we catch ORU, great. But, boy, we really want to beat those bunnies. from when I took over. Well, this is my 5th year, but when I took over, it was a tough stretch for us. And to get this program where it's at right now, with hardly any scholarship money and just a bunch of guys that want to play golf, yeah, this is fantastic for us. What a great opportunity and a tremendous experience for the guys. The state of Minnesota has been pretty nice to us. We've gotten a lot of really good players out of Minnesota, both on the men's and women's side. And I think with this class right now, Sam Matthew and Jordan Rickle, that are our 2 upperclassmen playing in the regional and won the championship for us, their class, when they signed and they committed, they all kind of knew each other from prep golf. They all kind of fell in line after that and started having a lot of success. Got second their first year here at the conference tournament. And then, the past couple of years, we've been in positions to win tournaments. We've been really close. And this year, fellas, was just kind of a breakthrough for us. Boy, to win 3 regular season tournaments and go out and win the conference, it's been huge. And I can only imagine that, the recruiting is going to pick up a little bit in our contacts. And a lot of credit to these kids right now that are leading the charge. I mean, they were kind of the pioneers for the program and really starting to put us on the map. We all got chills when we were sitting there in the hotel room and saw our name pop up for that first regional. And, you start staring at the other schools, the Baylors and the Iowa States. And, our expectations are pretty similar to every tournament. They're pretty high. I mean, we know we can go out and post some scores. But I think it's going to take something pretty special, for us to advance on. And the guys know that too. So hopefully it's a mindset where we just head into the tournament with go big or go home, nothing to lose. So it'll be fun for us.
All right, so the Coyotes are one of 81 teams playing in the 6 regionals around the country. There are 14 teams just in the USD regional, including 4 that are in the national top 20. And you've got to be one of the top 5 teams in the regional if you want to advance to the national finals. Well, the NCAA Tennis Championships get started this weekend. The Summit League champion Denver men are in a region hosted by the University of North Carolina. Denver will play Mississippi State in the first round. The Denver women will be in Miami, Florida. Denver will play Ole Miss in the first round there. This is the 2nd straight national tournament appearance for the women and the 3rd in a row for the Denver men. And Western Illinois will host the Summit League Outdoor Track and Field Championships next weekend. Carly Carper of South Dakota State is going to be one to watch. She has the fastest times in the league so far in the 100 and the 200 meters. She won the 100 at the Howard Wood Dakota Relays over the weekend. Carper also anchored the 400-meter relay. The Jacks won that event too. They have the fastest time in the league in the 4x1 as well. Marissa Hagedorn of South Dakota State won the 100-meter hurdles at Howard Wood in a time of 14:37. That is a league best so far. South Dakota State might be a contender next week in the league championships, but North Dakota State still has the best time or distance in 6 of the running events and 4 of the field events. The Bison women will be after their 8th straight league championship in outdoor track and field. Well, up next, the latest update in the Summit League building boom. We'll see what has taken shape at the UNO Community Arena in Omaha.
Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Grand Falls Casino and Golf Resort and Dakota Land Honda. Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Health, your Heartland Chevy team dealers, and the Sioux Falls Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Welcome back. The UNO Community Arena is set to open this fall in Omaha. It will be the new home floor for the Mavericks in their Summit League basketball games and volleyball matches. It'll also be the home ice for the UNO hockey team and have a separate sheet of ice for community use. Here is Dave Allers with the latest look inside.
It is a beautiful spring day here at the site of the UNO Community Arena, and certainly a lot's changed since we were here for our last edition of Maverick Minutes. Welcome back. Dave Allers with you, and as you can see, a lot of work has gone on the outside. The facade of this building really taking shape with a lot of the finishing going on up top and down below here on the community end. We are here at the community end of the arena, and we're going to go inside in a minute and take a look at a lot of the work that's gone on inside there. You've no doubt seen some of the local news reports of some of the work that's gone on, including the installation of the first seat.
This is one of the best days in my 40-year memory of being involved with UNO.
We are standing right now on what is sort of the lead up to the overpass that will carry 67th Street across the creek here and lead to even more parking. And here to talk to us more about this part of the project, of course, Steve Gustweiler from Kiewit Construction. Steve, this is really an impressive piece. I know it's something that you guys are really ready to start pouring and getting after it here.
Yep, we'll have this bridge poured here this Saturday. We're planning on pouring it this Saturday. We just actually had all the parties involved here today actually for a pre-activity meeting and going over all the specifics on getting this pour all right and everything. So
great work with this. It's really an imposing structure here. Inside, I know a lot of people have seen some of it. They'd like to see more. Can we go inside and take a look at what you guys have accomplished?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. So the main entrance here, how many doors will be along the front here? Is it basically door to door all the way?
There'll be a double set of doors in between each column.
Okay. So Steve, here we are in the lobby, and certainly a lot has changed since we were here last. These stairs, for one, really an impressive sight to come into the building and to see this first thing.
Yep, so these are all precast concrete treads, get a light nicer finish. So once you get those installed, it really makes it pop. We'll paint all those stringers and everything, and then there'll actually be a rail that goes on there that finishes it off. So
very good. Well, the rest of the lobby will have all of the basics that you'd expect to find in an arena. This area right over here that we're looking at is where the team store will be, but there will also be box office, and you can kind of see the windows over there. There's going to be quite a bit in this small area, isn't there?
Yep. So there'll be the box office, like you said, and then just down that corridor is actually the skate rental shop.
Okay.
So when you come in here for open skate and you want to get skate rentals and go on to the community ice, you actually come in the south entrance and walk down to the skate shop. You can rent some skates and then walk directly over onto the community ice.
And a pretty cool shot here of the concrete on the main floor going in. The ice will eventually go on top of that when the hockey team starts playing in October, and then the basketball floor on top of that when they get going this November. Thanks to Dave and everybody in Omaha. We will see you next week on Inside the Summit League.